each other. Now, this isn't a big secret. The Gospels are filled with admonitions of Jesus telling us that we should care for each other. And Jesus did not come in some kingly glory to take reign over the earth. Jesus came as a humble servant, as a teacher, ministering to the needs of those around him. And Jesus shared his table not just with those who were liked by society, but everyone, including those who were marginalized. What does it look to put this into practice? Well, we must address the needs of the world. As those in Rome addressed the needs of each other and gave point to the need, so we too must recognize those around us. Some people do indeed need more money than they have. This is a simple fact, and in this economy it's getting more like that every day. The charitable donations from this congregation have gone on to support so many people. You have built orphanages and houses, provided happiness to families on Christmas, and fed the hungry through your giving. Excuse me, my southern started showing. Even the children have gotten involved, purchasing livestock for the Heifer Project. This is an amazing ministry that we can perform through what minor material possessions that we may own. However, we recognize that there are other needs. Every week we read the names of those who are in our bulletin. And we ask during the prayer time for the names of those who need us this week. We recognize them by asking for intercession by God. But we are also remembering them, keeping them in our hearts and minds, remembering that they are a part of our community. Those who ask for these prayers on behalf of others are ministering through the memory. That by remembering them, we may recall how they were, how that they have helped our lives, and how that we may help theirs. We keep their needs in mind so that we may minister to them, not only in prayer, but through our other ministries. And some of these ministries are when people need of a community. As a community of faith, we have a great opportunity and responsibility to help one another. We have the opportunity to minister to people by visiting the sick and the shut-in, by taking food to those who need it, and by being present in someone's time of need. These are all necessary parts of the community's ministry, and this ministry is supported by our gifts. We give according to our ability of the gifts of the Spirit. These are what enable us to give in this community, that we meet the needs of others. We give of our time and our talents. All that we have and that we are can be used to God's service. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again because I speak from conviction when I say, whenever we minister to others, we multiply our ministries. Whenever we help someone, we provide support for them and their individual ministries. If we help someone to be in a position to help others, then we have multiplied our own actions. For instance, when you gave to the Simply Smiles ministry, you're not only building orphanages and houses, you're creating the opportunities for people to live together, to love one another, to create families and fellowships, to become the community that can share their unique gifts with each other. Pardon the metaphor, but ministry of this kind is like a virus. It's contagious. When we lift someone else up, when we perform ministry, when we touch their lives through God's will, it enables them to help others. If we help one person up who helps another person, then our ministry is doubled. If we help two people, and each of them help two more people, then our personal ministry grows exponentially. To this I want to add the following. You have ministered so greatly to me. I came to North Guilford in need of training. I needed to know what a church looks like, and I needed to know what it means to be a pastor. What talents I have and what ministries I can devote to service of God. Here, in these respects, you have encouraged and shaped me. I've learned so much here in a congregation that supported my biographical, academic, and theological interests. You took in and ministered to me, and when I leave, I will take you with me. All that I've learned here and all that you've taught me will be a part of my ministry. And so my ministry is your ministry too. I learned very early of your mission in creating pastors. I was told very early when I got here how glad you were to have interns, how the church enjoyed having these people come and visit. And that is readily apparent. You take the charge of training us so very seriously, but also with such great joy and compassion. I can say unequivocally that this church loves its seminarians and loves to train people in the ministry. But seminarians are not the only ones trained in ministry. By being a loving and supporting community, you empower each other. There is a phrase, I grew up in the South, that's part of the Disciples and Baptist tradition, and I have learned recently also part of the UCC tradition, and I suspect other traditions as well. But the phrase is called the priesthood of all believers. And it's this statement, a radical doctrine that says that all are called to be ministers in the eyes of God. And that we are all equal and able to use our talents to perform God's will in our own different ways. That those of us who are in a pastoral or educational or administrative ministry, the only thing that separates us is a special training. But each person has the unique ability to perform God's will in this world. This congregation, each and every one of you, you have ministered to me and to each other, and to the community that extends outside of these church walls. This is a church of one heart and soul. Now, this doesn't mean that we agree on every aspect, on every single thing. Of course not. We come as individuals to this house. But in your service to God's will, through your energies and efforts, knowledge and abilities, and yes, even our material possessions, you have committed yourselves to the ministries of this congregation. And so if there is any witness to God's works in the world, let this church be it. That you perform service in the name of Christ, working together in fellowship and faith, being of one heart and mind, transformed by God's love and mercy. And then you go and transform others through your ministry. Amen.
Amen.